right, so hello everyone, and welcome to to our session. This is Anea. I am a mentor at Clarusway, and today we have a really special guest. Hello, Mina. Mina Gumus, right, is one of our guests. Is one of our alumni, and we would like to have a conversation with her and listen to her experience, what she has done, and if you have any questions, of course, you can ask on the question and answers part, and also you can raise your hand and ask any kind of question. So Mina, welcome.
Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah, I guess it.
End of a busy week. Time is close. Such like these issues.
It should feel nice to be busy, right? While you do what you like to do.
Of course.
All right, so we would like to start with a introduction. What you can tell about yourself, maybe your previous experience, whatever you like to say. Your week, and just an introduction.
Okay, so let's start with who am I? I'm Mina, as you mentioned earlier. I started my life of work as a teacher after working 15 plus years at different positions in the education field. I decided to shift my direction to IT. I was a trainee as well at cohort 10. Yeah, we were cohort 10. Right after my graduation, I got my first position. I may be tired, but this is a happy tiredness. I cannot say I'm sad.
Yeah.
So a mother, on the other hand, I have two great kids. We live in US, Michigan. So do you want me to go more about why I decided my direction, or
whatever you feel like? Like, if you want to say more about yourself, it's okay. If no, we can ask some questions. I have some questions. People here probably will have some questions, especially when it comes to searching a job and searching for a job, your work experience, etc. But my first question is about previous experience. So you mentioned that you were a teacher for 15 years, right?
Yep.
And then you decided to switch your career, to change your career. But your teaching field was not relating anyhow or somehow to the IT, right? Or
exactly.
was it? Okay.
The only time I was touching the laptop was for maybe using the Word or Excel, but not more than that. So why I changed my direction to IT while I didn't have any IT experience is, as I said earlier, I have two kids. One of them is a junior this year, and he has a bunch of, let's say, the computer classes, and he talks about programming, robotics, this and that. And the other one, she's in the elementary kid, but she also knows how to code her robots. Wow. And he's in the robotics team as well in her school. And my husband is also in this field. He's a Java developer. So while they were talking all together, I felt I'm left out.
I see.
I wanted to be able to join their conversation, but I was not understanding anything what they are talking about. I don't know any programming language, or I don't know, anything about IT. Okay, now no coding, nothing. So I said, okay, it's not good. I don't want to have distance between my family. I have to be understanding them. But on the other hand, this was only one reason. Another one, as I said, I worked at different field of the education area, and I was for myself, for my feeling, I was at the top. I did everything what I can. I want something new in my life, new challenges. If you don't leave your comfort zone, you cannot progress.
Right.
While everything is improving, it means you are going deep.
Right. Even if you just stay, you go back somehow,
Yep.
because everyone is somehow going forward. Okay. You just mentioned that your husband is a developer. So was he a great help to you? I mean, when it comes to the boot camp and learning, period.
Sure. He always supports me, still supports me, but we are now in the different fields. So he cannot help me like beginning.
Mm-hmm.
He helped me for deciding which boot camp to choose, because I didn't know the Clarusway at the beginning or another boot camps, but I had many people around me already started taking classes, or maybe they started their first jobs around me. So I told many of them. I got many names, different bootcamp names. Then I Googled which is the best. So I saw that the Clarusway was one of the best 10 bootcamps in my research areas.
Mm-hmm.
And then I joined your syllabus night. He was with me, and he said, okay, their syllabus is great. If we're going to choose one, this should be the Clarusway. And I didn't hesitate to start the Clarusway, and still I'm happy that I joined the Clarusway.
Yeah,
for many different ways. I can explain later on, depending on your questions.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have a happy story here, so it's nice to hear that. That would be actually my next question, like, why did you decided to choose Clarusway and how? But you already explained that, so maybe
Sure.
I can. Well, you can move to the next question. So, what can you tell us a bit about Clarusway? Like, how was it? At the very beginning, like what was something that you liked? Maybe even things that you didn't like. But can you tell a bit more about your time in Clarusway?
So we didn't study these questions before. This is for the attendees. I'm sorry for stopping thinking what to say, because I didn't know what you're gonna ask me before the meeting. So the first points which appear in my mind are, let's say, the mentoring system.
I'm a mentor, by the way. Hello to everyone.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to you and all of the rest, because I had great mentors during my ITF. I don't know the schedule of the Clarusway now, but I passed the 9 months education. The first 3 months were ITF, then AWS, and the DevOps. So I had 2 different mentors, but both of them were very knowledgeable, supportive. They helped me a lot. And, you can buy the Udemy courses or Coursera, this and that. You can reach the knowledge, but Clarusway is something more than that. This mentoring plus having groups to study together. I had many good friendships. We still connected to each other, and who support me a lot to get this point. But for the beginning of this journey, Clarusway put us in the groups. Then, of course, depend on our mindsets, this and that, we created different groups. But the workshop days were awesome. And the syllabus was great too. I mean, what we learn, what you're gonna see in your real work life. Even, for example, for my workload, I don't have anything same with the Clarusway schedule. The tools, each and everything is so different than what we learn. But the most important thing that the Clarusway taught us, how to reach the information, knowledge. Yeah. So now, if I'm gonna say the tools, if there are people from the AWS DevOps path, they won't know those tool names, most probably. But I can do my task. I'm not fired. I'm still in the job. Yeah. So thanks to Clarusway, they told us how to find what you need.
Okay, so I would like to go with some more question about Clarusway, but I'm giving priority to the question coming from attendees. So we have a question from Melanie. Well, the question is, as I would guess, it's about finding the job. So let's go with that. The first question is, how long after the end of bootcamp did it take to land a DevOps role? So after how, like, for
Just 2 days.
Oh.
I was graduated at the 21st of July. It was our last day in the Clarusway. And I got my first offer on next Tuesday. It was Friday, so next Tuesday I got my offer.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So when you said two, like I believe 2 months, that's quite a good time, I would say. 2 days. Okay.
Yep.
I think someone else just answered, raised their hand. I think it was Yingliu. Can you please raise your hand again? You can answer we can answer to your question. Well, yeah, there was a question. Someone raised their hand, but well, let's continue that. Until we get other questions. So yeah, so I want to go a bit more about Clarusway, and you're starting there. Like, how much time did you, let's say, spare for starting? So I heard there are people who started 6-7 hours, people that started maybe 2. I mean, beside the our live sessions, because we have live sessions usually about 3. Like 3 hours. Beside that, like, how many hours did you have to to put your work on?
Giving a specific time is not easy. Of course, it was depend on the days or the months. Each step get a little bit more intense. I mean, when I look at my ITF, it was easier than AWS. AWS was easier than DevOps. I mean, not easy or difficult, more intense. So you need more studying. For me, my schedule was something like this. We had sessions at night. So what I was doing, we had some LMS pre-class materials. I was studying those ones, and I like to take notes. I have a bunch of notebooks still. Let me see. Not all, but some of them are here from some courses. Okay. You can see with the bookmarks.
Yeah, I don't even have like 5 or 6 pages, and you have so many notebooks. Okay.
And you can, I guess, see my posters. I can turn the correct direction. How many?
Yeah, I would also like
over there
to share my wall too is full of sheets of Python, JavaScript, Django when it comes to the full stack.
So I mean, I was taking notes, and of course the teamwork, which is for me very, very important. I had a team. We were meeting together and doing the hands-on again before the class, because you may feel you understand the instructor during the class, but still you need to do it by yourself. Well, if you can do it by yourself alone, but then you will be facing with only your mistakes or failures, and you will improve yourself that much. But if you study with the team, maybe you don't get a mistake or an error, but your teammate will. And while you are troubleshooting, you learn more. So, I mean, there's no limit to study. It depends on the person. I'm not that young, so it was taking more time than the young ones. So,
but it took less time to find a job probably than everyone else. Yeah. Now we have a question about the job. So I think you can see the questions right from the question and answers part. Yeah, yep, it's from the Zena Collins. So can you just answer to that question, which is, if it only took 2 days, how is that if you were still taking classes? By the way, before starting to answering that, you can press to that answer live button. So, and then when you're done, you can just press done.
Okay. Sorry. I'm having issue with my Mac now. I'm a Mac user. I was a Mac user, but everything in my workload is the Microsoft.
Oh.
So now, after not using it quite well, I had a difficulty to use it. So for the question, how it take only 2 days if I was having the classes, I got my first job after my graduation in a short amount of time, but I have a friend or friends, let's say, they started their job while they were still having the classes. I mean, it depends on the person, how early you start your interviews, job applications.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, actually, so as I mentioned, I'm a mentor at the same time. I was part of Clarusway Bootcamp. I'm still part of the backend part because I'm a full stack, let's say, student. And I started to apply for jobs, and you can get your offers, you can get your your job interviews. Depend on when you start to just try to apply, find people. So it basically kind of belongs to that part, right? And at the same time, it doesn't mean that you don't know everything till the last day of of finishing the bootcamp, right? You have a lot of information that will help you. Okay. By the way, so just to mention, you don't really have to do anything with the answering part. You just answer. We're gonna handle the rest. I just got a message telling me that. So the next question is from Ying Ying Liu. So it's even just took 2 days to land a job after bootcamp. Could you please share how you find your job? Is through the network, job search on LinkedIn, or whatever?
Yeah, it's a good question. I highly recommend, I don't know the attendees, are they in the beginning of their journey, at the end, where they are, but CMS team does the great job. I recommend them to keep joining the CMS sessions because I was on their position. We were sometimes lazy, or let's say, okay, let's study this. We don't need CMS this week, etc. However, I was a good follower for the CMS team, and I did what they said. They said that, okay, you have to open your LinkedIn account now, you have to do this and that, be careful for these points. So I had a good LinkedIn account, and I didn't do any job application. I was still trainee, and I didn't lie about anything in my LinkedIn account. I mean, I didn't say I work in this company as a etc. position, which is in IT. This or that. I mean, I'm very sensitive about being honest. But still, while I was in my last module, which is DevOps, I cannot give the exact number, but maybe 40 plus recruiters send me job opportunities. But I didn't want to distract my concentration. I wanted to finish the classes first. So when the classes were over, we were in the exam preparation certification week. I replied to one of the recruiter, which was from our state. And I had an interview with him. I shared my resume. Of course, for preparing resume, I took help from the CMS as well. And after 3 steps of interview, I can talk more later on. First one was the recruiter, second one was the HR, third with the VP, and the fourth one with the manager, development manager. I mean, end of these 4 steps, I landed my first job without any job application.
Wow. I mean, because from the many success stories, we hear stories of people applying for 400 jobs, 500 jobs, getting 10 interviews, and then finding a job. So yours is quite an interesting story, I would say. Yeah, I think the norm is about 400, maybe to 500 job applications. It really depends, though. It really depends on the field.
I want to add something at that point. My husband was already working. I was not in a hurry to find a job or find a job let's say, paying more than this or that. My first point was, okay, get a job, have a real life experience, because I don't want to lie in my resume. I didn't write any work experience beside the Niatech. So I didn't, discuss anything with HR. I just accepted the offer. Maybe it helped make it faster, because I have friends, they say, okay, it should be 6-digit, or it should be this or that company. But for me, I didn't have anything like that.
So we have another question, I think it's again from Melanie. When interviewing, what examples did you use when explaining your knowledge? Did you use the capstone project and know it well enough?
You need to get ready for the soft skill questions. If you apply the job like me, for the beginner positions, because they know that you don't have experience, or your experience is very limited. So they ask you more about the soft skills. They are looking that, can they educate you? Can you be a part of their team? Will you be able to adapt their company culture? So I had many soft skill questions on that side. For the technical ones, were not difficult. Of course, I used the capstone project, but they didn't ask anything deep. They were asking the questions limited with my resume.
Nice.
When I joined such like these sessions, or the Volt Run sessions, the alumni were saying that do not write anything in your resume if you cannot explain. I did like that. I didn't do, okay, let's put this tool, write this as well to get more interviews. I just limited my resume with the things I can explain them when they ask. And especially for the vice president, he highlighted my minutes, lines of my resume. He asked each and everything. So I did like that.
Yeah,
for example, for the capstone project, we had 5 pipelines, and I was feeling comfortable with only the first one. After first one, the others were getting more complicated. So I said that, okay, we had a project which we used the 5 pipelines. The first pipeline, I did this and that. I didn't touch the others. So when he asked me, okay, could you tell me the project you were involved? I said only this. There were 5 pipelines, but I was responsible from the first one. So we did this and that. When I said this, he didn't ask how about the second, third, or fourth.
Okay. Well, definitely it's important, to be honest. Like to be sure that you can explain what happens, because it's easy to to pretend, right? But when it comes to the real, when to the interview, then you won't be able to do that and being in an awkward situation. Now, there's something that I would like to ask about, the mentors, the instructors, people at Clarusway, and the way how they approach, or let's say, to this kind of problem. So many students may feel a kind of lack of motivation, may feel down after a long time. Did you have that kind of feelings, after some time, like, oh, I can't do that, should I quit? What should I do?
Definitely. My friends started getting their offers. I wasn't the first one. And I was hearing their stories, and I was stressed out, burnout, let's say. I said, okay, I cannot do this. Believe me, I'm not lying. I still keep those pictures. I took my posters down, clean up my desk. My son was asking from us to buy a new chair. So I said, okay, take it. I put it in his room. When they heard that, my teammates heard that, I took the picture of my empty table and shared with our group. They said, okay, let's do a Zoom. They talked with me 1.5 hours.
Okay.
And they really tried to motivate me. That recruiter, which I said, okay, I can talk with you, or I can share my resume. happened that day. I was really motivated with my team, by my team. I started an interview journey that day and I got my offer. I mean, that's why the team work makes dream work for me.
For sure. Having good friends is really important. Being in a great team. I kind of have that team, and people that I just met are now my really good friends. Because you have the same aim. You work together. You try to get the best of what you can, and people usually really help each other. Like you can hear a lot of stories of people that being hired and then they recommend their friends because they are trustable people, and then they call people that they trust. So what would be your advice to people that feel down? How to deal with that? I mean, besides giving their chair to their children, I hope you didn't take it back. Did you take it back or buy a new one?
I took it back, but when I got my first salary, I took him new one.
All right. Okay. So what would be, like, how would you motivate people? What would you say to them?
I hope they have teams like me, they do group works, but if not, as soon as possible, you can be the, leader. You can try to reach the people and make the group. Don't wait anybody to invite you. Or they can contact the CMS team. I don't want to mention any name because there are many people in the CMS team. So I don't know who is their CMS mentor, but I'm sure they will support, they will help. I mean, not only the CMS, our instructors were very supportive as well. We were asking questions to them, not only for the classes, touch like these questions, and they were making extra Zoom sessions for us, motivating us. But I recommend them to think where they were at the first day of their journey and where they are now. They passed a huge way, and why not to reach the finish line? Why not just stop before that finish line? The story of the rabbit and the turtle?
Yeah.
I want them to be the turtle. Just concentrate to that finish line. Do not distract themselves. Weather is getting fine, or there's this event, that event, let's do this or that. Just close yourself to the life for a couple of months, but the ending will be good. I mean, when you see that dollars in your account, it motivates you.
Yeah, I mean, I know people that, let's say, the students that get rid of their social media accounts for the time being, and their social media account now is LinkedIn. Instead of Instagram, TikTok.
I normally don't use too much social accounts. I know what is going on behind the scene. I'm not IT guy, but I was a science teacher. So yeah, the LinkedIn was only the platform which I was using during my journey as well. And they have to be really active at the LinkedIn, because I know I had friends with the certificates. I graduated without any certificate. I'm not talking about the Clarusway one, the official ones, let's say for the DevOps. I had friends, they were having Terraform or the social architect certificates during their education. I couldn't handle all of those together. When I was graduated, I didn't have any certificate. But this job, which I'm working now, came from the LinkedIn. I was really active in the LinkedIn. I had more than 500 plus followers. Plus, I was posting some. I was not writing the post from the scratch, but if you belong to Clarusway or Niatech, I mean, they do great posts. You can repost those with the tags. I mean, putting tags is really important. Without tag, it won't reach too much people. But when you use the tags, so you can reach a lot of people. So, and there are many people, they want to give you training for the certificates when they see you are the trainee somewhere. you may think that no need to answer this message, but don't do that. For the LinkedIn algorithm, it's important if you are answering the messages or not. So I was writing answer, okay, thank you reaching out to me, but I'm not planning to get any certification right now, let's say. So if they're gonna be active in the LinkedIn, I hope they will get good job opportunities.
Which probably be, right? Like LinkedIn is, without leaving aside the other job application website, but LinkedIn is a great place because it shows a lot of things, even about your character and who you are and your experience. Now, I want to talk a bit about your current job, if you don't mind. How was that the first month, the feeling of the first month?
I will share mine, but this is unique to me. I have now a bunch of DevOps engineers around me. When we talk to each other, none of us have similar work environments. None of us use the same tools in their environments. There are a bunch of tools, so we have all different environments. For me, I had only 2 weeks of onboarding process. Then I started getting my first tasks. I didn't have a long, sometimes the people say, okay, you will have 3 months, 6 months of onboarding process. And I mean, not onboarding, let's say, they're gonna teach you this on that, but I didn't have that. After 2 weeks, they said, okay, these are your tasks. But of course, they give me easier tasks than the senior ones. So from second week till now, I'm having the tasks, trying to complete them on the time.
Which I'm sure you do, right? Let's say most of the time.
Yeah, but the company environment and that team environment is really important. I have a good manager and good teammates. Our manager was one of the developer of the company. They said, okay, we're gonna start the agile DevOps, so we want you to be DevOps guy. He started educating himself, but he has good knowledge about IT and the company projects. Then they hired 3 of us. One of us is the DevOps engineer. He has 10 plus years experience. One of us is the senior who has 20 plus year experience. And I am the associate one who has 1 year of experience. So they know my capabilities. They give me the task, depend on that, but still they want me to improve myself. That's why they give me some higher task. And when I ask questions, they ask me more questions. They don't give the answers directly. They try to guide me to find the answer by myself.
Okay. Wow. So you basically have a great team, and you like about that. Now, yep. I know that you told me that the tools that you are using are not very similar to the tools that you learned about at Clarusway, but still, I mean, because at Clarusway, even after you graduate, you still can ask for support, right? You can get back to the mentors, instructors if you want. You would be able to see, the lessons for quite a long time and the live sessions. So did that help you, especially at the beginning?
Yeah, but I didn't ask a lot of questions because, as I said earlier, my environment is Microsoft native environment. And what I do is, our team, DevOps, works infrastructure as a code. So I write PowerShell scripts or bicep files. I'm sure they don't make sense for most of you. So I didn't ask any technical questions, but I still, if I have time, I still like to join the Voltron sessions, see Harrison and the team. It makes me feel better. So I still feel that I'm a part of Clarusway family. I'm still in the Slack channels.
Oh, okay. All right. But what about your team? You know, people that you were working with when you were at Clarusway, starting together. Like, do you still have a close relationship with each other? Like, do you try to help, assist each other? How does it work?
Yeah, we have. Beside the Slack, we created some WhatsApp groups. Just yesterday, I guess, I sent one message about the AWS account. The 1 year free tier is completed and I closed my account. I didn't want them to charge me, but I see that they still charge me for my domain name. So I asked to them because a couple of them works with the AWS and I got my answer. No need to ask to Google now. I have good friends to ask.
Okay. And about your friends, if you don't mind me asking, like how long did it take them to find jobs, you know, or how was the experience? Like if you can say in some short words.
Yeah, some of them got their job while we were still in the Clarusway journey, around the completing our capstone project. I think one or maybe two of them are still in the market, but 99, let's say, it may not be correct, but more 90+% of them landed their job just after a couple weeks. I mean,
wow,
it didn't took so long.
I see. That's impressive actually, because when it's one person, you say, well, that's a success story. When two people, maybe coincidence, but having like 90% of people finding a job in a very short.
And I'm not joking. I mean, all of my friends, they were, you know, hardworking people during their education. So hard work pays off at the end. Okay. So we had good knowledge and good experience from the Niatech or the Clarusway side. So when we applied the jobs, got the interview, it wasn't difficult to answer their questions.
Oh, well, thank you for all these answers. I mean, and yeah, even though it's obvious that we didn't give you the questions, because this is not an exam, right? But you didn't have to think long for that. So thank you for your answers. Now I would like to ask our attendees if they have any questions. They can type on the question and answer section, and we'll try to be happy to assist them. If not, well, we can just end our our session. So guys, if you have any questions, let us know.
Yep. I mean, if they have any question for the interview process with the HR, VPs, managers, I will be happy to help, or anything else. I mean,
yeah, especially when it comes to like we have this kind of like there's a coffee talks with previous like people that were students and found a job, and yeah, most of the questions were about interviews and the job. So we're like, okay, can we get to the interesting part now after the the introduction? But I believe like we don't really have questions here. So before saying goodbye, is there anything last that you will say to people, like an advice for someone that is already working, has a success story?
Yeah. So I recommend them, when I got this job link, I mean, the recruiter said that, okay, we talked with the recruiter, then he said, I will take your info to the company. If they will like to continue, I will be telling you. Then he said, okay, company wants to continue with you. Could you use this link and upload your documents? So that link was the direct link to the company's website. And when I check the job title, I mean, this job opportunity in LinkedIn, they didn't post it in LinkedIn. If this recruiter won't reach me out, I won't be hearing about this job. Then there were some optional documents. I recommend them to fill the job applicants directly from the websites of the companies. This is first one. The second one, try to fill as much as possible. For example, I wrote the cover letter. I didn't upload my resume only, but that was the only required document. Others were optional, but I wrote the cover letter. I asked the Niotech if they can give me the reference letter, and they did it so fast. So I filled almost everything, and I passed that step as well. Then when I need to do the interview with the rest of the company members, each company has colors, for example, I see the colors they use, the red and white. For my company, it was green and let's say light brown. So I dress with using those colors. I had to, what they say for this. I forgot the term for that. But when I need to go to the VP's interview, I took the folder in the green color. I don't know. People say these small things affect the interviewer. Just small clues.
Like they really follow CMS advice, right? I'm pretty sure that they give this kind of advice. Now we have two more questions, if you don't mind answering. So the first one is from Bridget. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Do you find that DevOps engineering supports better work-life harmonization than teaching did? Say the better work-life balance than teaching did.
I see what they are trying to ask. Let me think for a second. I say yes. Why? Because when it's 4:30, by the way, my work hours end at the 4:30. So when it's 4:30, it's over. Of course, you may keep some task in your mind. Okay, how am I gonna do this task or that? But it doesn't take too much in your head because they give you quite enough time to complete your task. They don't say, okay, do it right now, do it till tomorrow. So when you shut down your laptop, you don't have anything related to your job. But for teaching, when I was a teacher, you have a bunch of paperworks, or you have to answer the parents' emails, student questions. I had to let my kids sleep, then prepare the exam papers or read the exam papers. There were a bunch of materials I need to prepare. So I can say that if I compare the education and the IT, this is more comfortable and you earn more and more in the education.
It's a win-win-win-win situation. All right, yeah. And thank you for the honest answer. And we have one more question from Sally. How did you answer day-to-day activity question in your interviews? What was your response to that question regarding your experience in Niotech? Thank you.
Day-to-day activity, I'm thinking, did they ask this question to me or not? So for my work journey, when I first interviewed with the recruiter, he asked how much I earn, and I said 0. I told him that there were some requirements in my bootcamp. If you pass those requirements, they were giving the I couldn't get the word, internship. Sorry, I was looking for the word. So I was an intern in the Niotech, so it was a win-win situation. We were doing the work, they were using our knowledge, and we were learning the real life work and we were getting the work experience. I said the same to all of the rests. So they didn't really ask me a lot about what was your day-to-day work. But when I asked something like this, I was saying that we have Kanban board. We had Kanban board in the Nayatech. I'm sure they still have. If they didn't change, I don't know. So we were assigned to task, and I had to move it between the columns in the progress and complete. I mean, what we were doing, I exactly said that, nothing else.
Okay, so thank you very much for sharing your experience. Thank you very much for time. And I'm really pleased to meet you and see you, because we see each other for the first time. I didn't mention at the beginning. So thank you very much. And I want to thank everyone that attended our session. Thank you, guys. And I hope you have success stories, maybe even quicker than today's, faster than today's, and with those 6 digits. So thank you very much. Thank you again.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good one. Have a good weekend.
You have a good weekend ahead.